Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to yourrealestate101.com. Okay, right now I'm pretty sure a lot of you are wondering what is going on with the real estate market. You hear Joe Biden wants to cancel 1031 exchange. We hear capital gains. Basically wants to get rid of capital gains for a lot of the wealthy. But what should we really be thinking about? Now, although he says the 1031 will only affect people who would sell properties or make a profit of over $500,000. And for a lot of landlords, you might think, oh man, that's fine. I'm not, willing and dealing in that right? But it's only the big guys who's going to get it. Wait, first, stop right there and turn on that notification and subscribe if you haven't yet, and like this video. Okay, that will help us a lot in the YouTube algorithm. So thank you very much if you do that. Okay, now let's go back. So here's what you got to understand. It will affect everyone. Number one, the government is a little bit treacherous here, because every time they say they're going to do one thing and then they slowly take more. So you have to understand, today is 500,000. 2 years later, it's going to be you. Okay, so that's the first thing you have to think about. The second thing you have to think about is kind of like what they say, trickle down effect. Well, guess what? If the big guys are feeling like, okay, I'm getting squeezed up there, they're going to start coming into your table to eat. It's kind of like the way we're seeing it right now with the marketplace. Real estate is going up, one less houses. Now, why is there less houses? Well, because people are scared. Why? Because there was lockdowns. Why? Because it's always going to be trickled down. Why is there less? Why are there so many people looking for regular houses, not brand new houses? Well, because the lumber industry was closed and all this stuff. But you see, it comes from something else. But each time it comes from the top, and then slowly it gets down to even some of the areas where you would not expect prices to jump up the way they are. So you have to remember, everything that is done is going to affect even the little guy. Okay, so don't be fooled. It's kind of like the way they keep raising the minimum wage, but then guess what? Everything just goes up more. So it's tricky. You raise the minimum wage, everything goes up. You raise it again, everything goes up even more. So don't get stuck with what they're saying. Ask what will be the effect from what they do. If this now look at the moratoriums and the eviction crisis. They don't even know what to do with it. They pretty much ripped a lot of people's rights to their property. They ripped a lot of rights. They diminished the rights of a lot of people of their ownership of the property. Remember, in America, one of the most important things is the fact that you can own your property, or you can have at least the illusion of owning your property. But this year was a little tricky. We have never seen this before. I can't think of anywhere in American history, where property rights were taken away this much. So we have to be careful where we are. I know a lot of Americans want to beat China in the economy, but the question is this: is it worth to become like China? Okay, because that might be what is kind of going on. Some of these officials might feel that the only way to beat China is to play the game they're playing, where they can control everything. And it feels like that's what's happening. For you landlords, just know that no one's coming to help you. I don't see it anywhere. Even when Trump was in power, he went after the landlords as well. He didn't care that they went after the landlord, because maybe it was because he was trying to win the election. But the point is this: no one cares about the mom and pop landlord. Don't think they do. I see a lot of landlords posting videos of themselves, with their houses destroyed. No one cares. They don't care, because in their mind, you're making a lot of money. Okay, even if you're not, even if you're struggling, because it doesn't matter. That's just what it is. So what should you focus on now is the question. Well, focus on your game plan. Focus on twisting your mind. Try to find out what is the right game plan for you right now. You need to change right now. The prices of the real estate's going up. The small multi-unit, duplexes, 4s, 5 units, those things, 13, 14, 20 units, 30 units. Well, you're going to feel it, because what's happening is people who used to buy private houses started buying duplexes. People used to buy new houses and I buying a house that's already built. People who used to buy a house that's already built is buying duplexes because they can't find single families. Then single people who buy single families are buying triplexes, and then so on. And landlords are starting to buy whatever they can find. They're going up. And this is something that's happening. And everyone's paying more for it. Now, when you are going to go out there and buy property, make sure, I think it's important right now, you make sure it cash flows at the current price. And the reason why I say this is this. If you buy the property and it doesn't cash flow right now, and the market's for some crazy reason, let's say, which I don't believe this is really a bubble, but it is a bubble, but it's a whole economy. It's more like an inflation. In fact, I think of it more like the price is just going up because of inflation. There's a lot of money's being pumped in, so everything just keeps going up. But it's kind of like artificially going up. Okay. If you buy a property right now and that property doesn't cash flow from day one, and for some reason that property's value goes down, you might be holding on to something for a long time. Now, eventually, yes, it will cash flow over time. But think about something. What if the government comes and says, hey, you don't have to pay rent? Then again, that's exactly what they did say. So this is not even a hypothetical. This is actual. If that tenant doesn't pay the rent, what if the government says you don't have to pay rent for another 2-3 years? What do? Now you got a property that's not cash flowing. What if the tenant decides to stay and they don't care about their credit? Well, you now have a property where you're taking care of people, right? So that's why you don't want to buy anything that doesn't cash flow, okay? Think about that, okay? Don't want to buy, unless you don't mind the long game and your game plan, and you understand your game plan is to hold on to that property and trade it later on. That's one thing. But you don't want to buy property that's not going to cash flow, because you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. Okay? So don't get too excited when you see all these prices go up. Now, if you guys own houses, remember your houses, your rental property, your houses, they're still going up as well. So your money's not going anywhere. Your money's going up with everyone, and it's going to go down with everyone. Whatever is going to happen, your money's going to be right there in that house. That's one of the best reasons to hold on to real estate instead of cash, because that cash is going down. So if you had, and I'll explain this, if you had $100,000 and you could have bought, let's say you could have bought 4 houses at 25 piece, boom, boom, right? But today, let's say the houses are worth $100,000. So you can only buy a house for $100,000. So you're only going to get one. But the house you bought at 25, let's say 10 years ago, that house also went up $100,000, each one of those houses. So now you got $400,000. That's inflation. You did not do anything. Each one of those houses went up with inflation, but your cash didn't, or not fast enough. Okay? Because your cash, you still have the same amount of cash. It's sitting in the bank, safe, but now it's worth less. Okay? So, guys, be careful out there. This is no time for playing around, no time for guys who don't know what they're doing. Make sure you are you're watching these videos, you're watching other videos, you're listening to the news, and you know what's going on, because things is going fast on a daily. Governments are changing on a daily. Okay, everything's changing every single day, every moment. There's a new law being passed by these royalties. Okay, so be careful out there. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and let's have a conversation.